Right now, if you are running Windows 11 on a Copilot Plus PC, your computer may be taking a screenshot of everything on your screen every single 5 seconds. Not just your browser, not just your emails, everything. Your banking app, your private messages, your medical portal, your work documents with confidential client information. Every 30 seconds of your digital life, captured, stored, indexed, and made searchable by an AI system that Microsoft built directly into your operating system. And the reason this matters more for Americans than for almost anyone else on the planet is something that almost no coverage of this feature has explained clearly. The legal protection standing between those screenshots and the people who want to see them is fundamentally weaker in the United States than anywhere else in the developed world. Not slightly weaker, structurally, categorically weaker. And that gap between what Microsoft is storing on your machine and how little legal protection Americans have over stored data is the thing you need to understand before you make any decision about this feature. The feature is called Windows Recall. Microsoft announced it in May 2024 as part of the Copilot Plus PC initiative, describing it as a photographic memory for your computer. The concept sounds genuinely useful on the surface. You had a document open 3 weeks ago but cannot remember what it was called or where you saved it. You saw a website with information you needed but forgot to bookmark it. Recall promises to let you scroll back through your digital life and find exactly what you are looking for using natural language search. Type what you remember seeing and recall surfaces the moment you saw it. That is the pitch. And as a productivity concept, it is not entirely without merit for certain users in certain workflows. But here is what the productivity pitch does not tell you. And here is where the browser privacy channel, the Rufus story channels, and every mainstream tech outlet covering this feature consistently stops short of explaining fully. Every 5 seconds, when the screen content changes, Recall takes a snapshot. Not a summary, not a log entry, a screenshot. A full visual capture of whatever is on your display at that moment. Those screenshots are then processed by an end-device AI that extracts the text visible in the image, the applications that are opened, the websites you are visiting, the content of documents you are reading, and organizes all of it into a searchable SQLite database stored locally on your machine. Over time, if you use your computer for 8 hours a day and Recall is active, you are accumulating hundreds of thousands of screenshots representing a complete, searchable visual record of everything you have done on that computer. Every private message you sent, every medical symptom you searched, every financial statement you opened, every conversation you had in a work application, every moment of your digital life captured in an image and indexed into a database sitting on your hard drive. Microsoft made several security changes after the initial public backlash that greeted the feature's announcement in 2024. Recall was originally going to be opt-out, meaning it would be active by default and you would have to deliberately turn it off. The public response to that decision was severe enough that Microsoft switched it to opt-in before full release. Recall now also stores its database in an encrypted form, accessible only through Windows Hello authentication, meaning fingerprint, face recognition, or PIN before you can access the stored snapshots. Microsoft also added what it calls a sensitive information filter designed to prevent Recall from capturing screenshots containing passwords, credit card numbers, and social security numbers. These changes represent genuine responses to genuine criticism. I want to be fair about that because this video is only useful if it is honest rather than sensational. But here is what independent testing found about those protections. In August 2025, researchers confirmed that the sensitive information filter still misses significant categories of data it was specifically designed to catch. The filter looks for data that fits expected patterns. A password field labeled password, a credit card number in a standard format, a social security number with the typical dash formatting. But sensitive data does not always present itself in the way a pattern matching filter expects. An account balance visible in your banking app, a credit card number displayed without dashes in a transaction confirmation, a password visible in a document that does not use the word password, a private message containing personal health information. All of this passes through the filter and gets captured anyway. Researchers have also demonstrated multiple times that the Recall database, despite its encryption layer, can be accessed by malware with administrative privileges on your machine. Security researcher Alexander Hagena, who built a tool called Total Recall, specifically to demonstrate how easily Recall data could be extracted, demonstrated in April 2026 that Windows Hello authentication could be exploited by malware to access the Recall database even with all of Microsoft's security measures in place. His conclusion, stated publicly, was that the vault is solid but the delivery truck is not. The encryption protecting the stored data is meaningfully better than it was. The pathway by which that data gets transferred and accessed introduces vulnerabilities that Microsoft has not yet fully closed. And there is something else that security experts have been pointing out since this feature was first announced that gets very little coverage. The mere existence of this database changes your security profile in ways that go beyond whether the database itself is currently secure. If your computer is compromised by malware at any point, the attacker does not just get access to what is on your machine at that moment. They get access to a complete, searchable visual history of everything you have done on that machine for however long recall has been active. That is a fundamentally different risk category from having your files stolen. It is the difference between someone stealing your wallet and someone stealing a complete diary of everywhere you have gone, everyone you have spoken to, everything you have purchased, and everything you have seen for months or years. Now I want to explain why this matters specifically for people in the United States, in a way that it does not for people in Europe. And this is the part that almost nobody is connecting clearly. When Microsoft announced recall, it immediately ran into a regulatory wall in Europe. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office, which is the data protection regulator, began requesting information from Microsoft about how the feature would function before it launched. European data protection authorities under the General Data Protection Regulation had questions about whether continuous screenshot capture could be made compliant with GDPR principles of data minimization and purpose limitation. The regulatory pressure was significant enough that Microsoft delayed the European rollout of recall while it worked through those compliance questions. As of mid-2026, the European regulatory scrutiny of recall is ongoing. The feature's availability and implementation in European markets continues to be shaped by regulators who have both the legal authority and the institutional willingness to intervene when they believe a technology product crosses into territory that compromises their citizens' fundamental rights. The GDPR is not a perfect regulation, and it is not a guarantee of privacy, but it represents a legal framework that treats digital privacy as a right worth protecting with meaningful enforcement mechanisms.